If there's one thing fans love, it's a good tradition. The Chiefs drum ceremony, Jets fans proving they can spell, Dolphins players taking the field to the soothing sounds of dolphin noises. We're talking about the origins of some of the most famous NFL fan traditions. When did they start? Which ones happened organically? And which ones were just savvy marketing? There's no mistaking a Green Bay Packers fan. Is it their smile or the glint in their eyes? No, it's the giant block of cheese strapped to their head. The Cheesehead hat is unmistakably Green Bay Packers, but that's not how it started. Cheesehead was originally a derogatory word used by Illinois sports fans to refer to Wisconsin sports fans, because Wisconsin produces more dairy products than any other American state. But Wisconsinites embraced the name. Our word now, bitches. The first Cheesehead hat appeared at a Brewers-White Sox game in Chicago in 1987. And it wasn't foam, it was made out of cardboard. A man named Ralph Bruno saw it. Later, while helping his mother upholster her couch, Bruno noticed the foam looked like cheese. So he cut a wedge, burned some holes into it to resemble Swiss, and then painted it yellow to create the first Cheesehead. Bruno trademarked the Cheesehead and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business called Foamation, which produces all the Cheesehead products you want, and all the Cheesehead products you don't want. And though it originated at a Brewers game, the Cheesehead eventually became associated with the Packers and all things Wisconsin. It even inspired a few knockoffs, such as Bears fans wearing cheese grater hats and Philly fans wearing cheese steak hats. In 2023, Bruno sold Foamation to the Green Bay Packers, making the Cheesehead official Packers merchandise. The Steelers' terrible towel is traditionally recognized as the first sports rally towel, a staple in every Steelers fan's home. They wrap their babies in them at the hospital, ensuring they grow up to be terrible fans. But it wasn't the first instance of a towel being used. From 1922 to 1964, Western Kentucky University's coach E.A. Diddle famously brought a red towel to basketball games and waved it, which fans emulated. It was so popular that it became part of the logo in 1971. In 1972, the Miami Dolphins tried waving white towels of their own, known as the horrible hanky. But it never caught on with the fans, because hankies weren't considered manly, unlike, say, dolphins. The Steelers' terrible towel was born in 1975, when the team was heading to the playoffs. Seeking a way to energize the fan base and boost sponsorship for their broadcasts, the team's flagship radio station turned to longtime announcer Myron Cope. At the request of the station's vice president, general manager, and president of sales, Cope was asked to come up with a gimmick. Something simple and unifying. It also needed to be lightweight and portable, something every fan had access to. They decided on a yellow dish towel, but it was Cope who suggested they call it the Terrible Towel. Leading up to the game, Cope advertised the towel to fans on the radio and evening television news using the phrase, "The terrible towel is poised to strike," which is hokey as shit. But whatever, it was the 70s. People wore suits on planes and ate asbestos. But would fans embrace the towel, or was it just a terrible idea? And what did the players think? Cope decided to poll the players. Linebacker Jack Ham told Cope, "I think your idea stinks." Ernie Holmes was against it too, saying, "We're not a gimmick team." Even the local newspaper, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, mocked the idea. The towels debuted on December 27, 1975, in a playoff game against the Baltimore Colts. As the Steelers took the field, an estimated 30,000 terrible towels filled the air, twirling in support of the team. Step 1 had been achieved. The fans embraced it. Step 2 came when a player embraced it. Wide receiver Lynn Swann was seen twirling the towel.
I started just twirling around over my head.
This image helped cement the towel in TV viewers' minds as a Steelers thing. Step 3 came when the Steelers won the game 28-10, ensuring that the towel was seen as a good thing and not a curse, which was only bolstered as the Steelers continued through the playoffs, winning another Super Bowl. In 1996, Cope gave the rights to the terrible towel to the Allegheny Valley School, which provides care to people with intellectual and physical disabilities. That's just nice! Proceeds from the towel have helped to raise over $6 million for the school. Bills Bills Mafia, which is not an actual mafia, but does share some characteristics, has a strange tradition of jumping on tables. Sorry, I meant through tables. Nobody knows exactly who the first person was to crash through a table in support of their beloved Bills. My guess? A drunk. There are plenty of supposed origin stories, such as a fan playing dizzy bat and then crashing into a bus, which led to a table the next day by someone else. Whatever the origin, everybody seems to agree that it started in 2015, which is when the first videos started popping up online. I guess Bills fans have a lot of disposable income, or maybe they just keep using the same tables? The Bills organization does not condone table smashing. In 2018, Erie County made it illegal. Oh no, said a fan base that literally named themselves after a criminal organization. I can't imagine anyone in the Buffalo area not being familiar with this tradition. But can you imagine someone who is? A surprised lawmaker seeing this bill come across their desk? What? Why? The tables are not for jumping on. I failed to find the exact number of people who suffered the consequences of their criminal actions for jumping on a table. There's no official number as the Bills lump it in with their general fan code of conduct. But the team states that in the past few years, overall arrests and ejections have been significantly lower. Smash your table, smash yourself, smash your wife, or set fire to yourself. I'm dying. Go, team! Sometimes they're not even folding tables. Although, I guess when you're a Bills fan, every table is a folding table. Fan experience may vary. Skol is a Danish-Norwegian-Swedish word for cheers. It's been associated with the Minnesota Vikings since their inception in 1961. The team's fight song is called Skol Vikings.
Skol Vikings, let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor your name.
The Vikings Skol Chant, however, didn't become a tradition until 2016, when they moved into US Bank Stadium. All you need is a drum and a pair of hands, and 50,000 friends. At the start of the game, the chant ends when they blow into the Yeller horn, which in no way sounds like it's filled with the farts of dead Vikings. The chant is a copy of the Viking war chant, made famous by fans of the Icelandic National Football Club in 2016.
In Iceland, we have the Vikings Skol Chant, uniting the people of the nation. We share this tradition with you.
But even that might not be the origin, as it's believed they got it from a Scottish soccer team, Motherwell FC, after the two teams met in 2014. Whoever started it, it's a Minnesota Vikings fan tradition now. Raiders Nation treats every game like it's Halloween, dressing in the most elaborate and sometimes intimidating costumes they can. But why? There is no single Raiders fan moment that sparked the costumes. The personality and the persona of the Raiders and their fans evolved over time. During the John Madden era of the 1970s, the team earned the image as the bad boys of the NFL, not just for their violent and bullying play, but for their propensity for cheating and taking cheap shots on opposing players.
Raider rule number 1, cheating is encouraged.
You knew going into the ball game that you were going to get hit. Now, the key was whether you was going to get hit fairly or whether it was going to be a cheap shot.
The Raiders have suffered a somewhat nomadic existence in the NFL, bouncing from Oakland to Los Angeles, back to Oakland, only to move to Las Vegas. No doubt this widened the scope of their fan base. Over the years, the outlaw persona has attracted several famous fans from heavy metal bands to gangsta rap, especially during the late 1980s and 90s. With an attitude and a soundtrack, Raiders Nation soon saw the rise of their superfans. Violator was one of the first fans to start the war paint trend back in 1991. Gorilla Rilla followed suit, or Gorilla Suit, in 1995. And it just got weirder from there. Skulls, dolls, chains. Somewhere along the line, Darth Vader showed up, potentially because they play home games in a giant version of his toilet bowl. Chucky dolls joined the mix after John Gruden became the coach. Again, dark and weird seems to be the criteria, and you can't push it too far. This fan base has the largest hodgepodge of ominous tchotchkes outside of a Mad Max yard sale, but the black hole accepts all kinds. As they say, there's only one nation, Raider Nation. If you're happy and you know it, hurl yourself into the stands. The Lambeau Leap is another great Green Bay Packers tradition, and though it's a touchdown celebration, the first one was performed by a defensive player. The first Lambeau Leap occurred on December 26, 1993, in a game between the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Raiders. Raiders running back Randy Jordan got hit by Packers safety Leroy Butler and fumbled the ball. Packers defensive lineman Reggie White got hold of it and was nearly tackled out of bounds, but
Reggie White comes over here and he's struggling trying to run. He's falling. We call eye contact, and he lateral me the ball.
Butler hauled balls to the end zone for another 6. That's when the brilliant idea popped into his head.
I'm gonna jump in the stands.
And that's just what he did, embraced by fans who immediately touched his butt. Other players went on to perform the leap as well, but it was popularized by wide receiver Robert Brooks, who did it after every touchdown he scored. Brooks even released a rap single called Jump in the Stands in 1996, which not only explained why he embraced the leap, but also credited Butler as its originator.
Came from Leroy Butler, you know, but he stuck to the wall like Velcro.
So good. I wish I could play more, but you don't deserve it. I tried to make it my wedding song, but my wife denied it on the basis that we're not Packers fans, and it is not good. But the joke is on her because I wrote it into my will to be played at my funeral, and I will absolutely die first. With any luck, I'll be jumping into the stands of heaven while she's stuck on earth listening to Robert Brooks rap. In your face, my beloved. In 2000 and 2014, the NFL updated its rules regarding excessive celebrations, and the Lambeau Leap was grandfathered in, which is a weird way to put it. Permitted because it was an individual act of celebration and wasn't considered taunting to the opposing team.
Every time I score, I'm going to give me a hug.
Today, the South Bleacher seats at Lambeau Field, where the leap often occurs, are the most coveted seats in the NFL.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.